clicked the wrong scene. Good evening, good morning, good noon, everybody. I am sleepy and feverish and sick. But I did indeed get Tomodachi Life 2, Living the Dream, and I made all of my OCs, all my characters in it. And it made me realize, wow, I really do not have proper references for a lot of these characters, and a lot of them are old enough to the point that I don't even really, I'm not like, I need to update their designs. So I was like, you know what? I should set up a stream and do some doodling on it. And right now, I am currently drawing one of my characters, Rigel. Rigel is actually a character who exists in the same context of me. In fact, I mentioned Chrysos a lot as being an important character to Mettie, but Rigel is important, if not more so. So I'm working on his design. I never really made him a solid design. Rigel first came about when I was writing. I think I've mentioned it before, but my lore and design actually came from, originally it was like an isekai, like inspired story, just because I was like, you know what, why the hell not? Sometimes I get bored and I'll start writing my own little short stories or my own little whips, and yeah, so what originally inspired what I am now was actually very different. The Ouroborean species that my OC Chrysos is actually what I originally was. I was going, if I kept it the same exact design I had before, I would have actually been a snake VTuber. But alas. You know, I was the Ghosttownmettie before I was a ghost, so doing an undead theme is more suiting in some ways. And you would be like, Mettie, isn't this really similar hairstyle to what you gave Chrysos last stream? And yeah. When I said my favorite thing in the world is pulled back hair, that is unfortunately just the case. Chronic forehead exposed enjoyer and sicko. He's a real sicko. I don't know. I want his hair pulled into like a ponytail, but also I kind of don't. Rigel's an interesting character. He's a very, I would love to say morally gray, but it's more like, no, he might just genuinely be a villainous character. And yeah, he's not the greatest. I think he's pretty much on the same level as Orochimaru, where it's like, since it's not done out of bigotry, but out of pure science, that's cool. But at the same time, oh dear fucking god, the world's a worse place with you in it. You know what I mean? I think I want him to have I don't want him to have a nose bump, but I do want him to have a bridge that doesn't go in as much. From early on, I've actually been an artist who likes drawing more distinct noses. I think when a character can be pretty much recognized by their nose, it's very fun. I'm not set on this nose for Rigel, but Also, actually, let me pull up chat on my phone. Because I cannot guarantee that chat won't be visible. Will be visible. But Twitch has been, I mean, OBS has been acting weird for everybody, so just how it is. Might as well cover my bases. Then I do want him to have slight sideburns. Like, it doesn't go all the way down, but it's enough. I like sideburns. I think they're cool. And actually, though, my first ever character I ever made, their most defining feature was having sideburns, which is like kind of an odd thing. But a lot of my friends at the time were like, why do they have sideburns? I would love to actually do a redesign of them soon. I think designing characters is one of those things that I really like. Probably the most out of anything with art, because I love drawing comics, but designing characters is always so much fun. I have a habit, though, of doing my best when I don't design a character in advance, and I just kind of toss them into the comic. In fact, the entirety of The Witch of Mirrors, I didn't draw any of them in advance. I literally... Every character you see was drawn on their first panel that they show up on. And I kind of like it. It's a very, like, I have the plot down, but it's very flexible in what happens, right? So when working on comics, it's pretty common for me to start off with just, okay, I have this idea in my head, I have this inspiration, and then I'm like, it can be like a character, it can be this idea, and like for The Witch of Mirrors webcomic, it was very much, it started off of wanting to explore identity. And it was partially inspired by a really fucked up anime that I watched a little too young called Le Portrait de la Petite Cosette, and I resonate a lot with my own personal traumas with that movie. And The Witch is very much inspired partially by my own relationship with Portrait de la Petite Cosette. And so that was a big inspiration for it. But it kind of became its own thing, like when you suffer through trauma, what can help you through it? And I don't want to give spoilers to my webcomic, since I'm still working on chapter 2, but it is really a case of kind of having an idea, figuring out what plot elements, what happens in it, and once you get the gist of it, you can just kind of fill in the rest. In animation, usually you do like when you're animating, you do keyframes. I do believe that's what it's called, where you do like the main frames of like, how I usually do it is like, what is their starting position and what is their ending position? All right, what is it like in between that? And so then you keep doing, what is it in between these two images? And so you keep going back and forth until you have enough frames in between. So it's a lot of in-betweening. And I like to also treat my scripts and plots the same way, especially for comics, where it's not, oh, this is the plot all throughout. Sometimes it really is like, all right, I know my beginning and my ending, or maybe I'll be inspired with a middle point, and then I'll figure out what's in between. And I usually like to figure out what's in between while drawing the comic itself. It can lead to some rough patches, maybe it doesn't flow too well, but it does make it kind of easier because I'm not so rigid in, oh, I need it to happen this way, I know, oh, I need it to happen that way, and so kind of allows the comic to become its own sort of organic form. And I think that's really fun to have, where it's not so rigid, not all of these plot points are completely sacred. I used to watch, back in like 2010s, used to watch this YouTuber called Mark Riley, and he has a lot of tips on how to work on comics and also a lot of art tips too, like if was interestingly enough, it was the BL manga Sekaiichi Hatsukoi, and it takes place like the setting is a manga publisher, and the two love interests are shoujo manga editors. And you learn a lot. I've learned a lot through the industry because of it, because I mean, a huge reason of why the series has been going on for so long and is still ongoing. It's been going on since the early 2000s until now, and still, I mean, not until now, it keeps going. It keeps, it talks about their day-to-day life. Like, it's heavy on the main character, Onodera Ritsu, and his own learning of manga and his own love that develops for it. And they talk about, like, heartthrob panels, and there's a lot more white space and how you build up emotions. And so by seeing how he learns how to edit manga and make suggestions to his artists, and it actually is really educational. It's very dated for different reasons, but it is my favorite BL for a reason, and it actually has helped me a lot on my drawing journey. That's probably my biggest hang up in drawing comics is I kind of have this problem with, well, most people do, a little bit of perfectionism, especially with art, because it's like, no. In fact, for years, I was always talking about, oh, I'm gonna release a webcomic, oh, I'm gonna release a comic, oh, I'm in the works for making a webcomic, but I put it off for such an insane amount of time because I was like, no, my skills aren't good enough. I have a story I want to tell, and I can't do what I want to. And little bit by little bit each year, I learn more and more. I understand how to draw certain expressions, certain movements, certain props. And you can learn a lot through drawing comics in the first place. Like a lot of things I drew for the first time while working on comics, but leading up to The Witch of Mirrors, I was actually doing mostly Yume comics, which is when you make a self-insert character to kind of exist in a series that already has, you know, a world and lore to it. So I was doing Yume comics just for fun and just showing them to my friends because I wanted to kind of have a way of self-escape. And so little by little, as I worked on, you know, comics just for myself, I started getting more and more tools to understand how to draw what I want to. And even then, I mean, it's all about figuring out what you can handle and what you're not going to beat yourself up over to. Because it's easy to realize that you have a problem with, you know, perfectionism, especially with drawing. Like, I don't mind. I'm not as judgmental towards other people's works, but as an artist, it's always that thing that you struggle with. You're always like, God dang it, I don't like this, I don't like that. Other people could find it just really nice. One of these days I'll stop deleting so many of my webcomic pages and I'll just release it. While I was playing Tomodachi Life, I was having a lot of fun making a lot of my characters from my series Bottom Pot Harbor, and it's one of my all-time favorite series that I've ever written. And I have it mostly in like written text, but it's definitely one that I want to turn into a webcomic. I'm planning on releasing my series kind of from the shortest to the longest. So Witch of Mirrors is actually my shortest series, and then Bottom Pop Harbor will be next. They're the most self-contained, they're the most straightforward plot points available, you know. In that way, when I get to the meat of my series, I already have the tools and I have the patience. I used to read a lot of webcomics in the 2010s especially, and there was this dragon website that my friend got me to play where you can like have a bunch of dragons and breed them and specialize them and all sorts of things. I forget what it was called. What was it called? Anyways, but they had a ton of ads on the websites too, a specific like webcomic, like Western webcomic hosting group called Hiveworks. And I read a lot of the Hiveworks comics. I was like, whoa, that's really cool. The friend who got me into that website though, the Dragon game, was also somebody who, my childhood friend, he was also really into working on comics and making characters, and it was so fun during those days, just passing our ideas back and forth and discussing. I was much more of a sci-fi writer back then, and heavily inspired by all sorts of things, from Hitchhiker's Guide to Rocky Horror to Mass Effect to Halo, you know. Weird mishmash of things. Oh, and Doctor Who inspired younger me a lot. And my friend, he was very much focused on ghosts. And horror and romance, and it was really fun. Nostalgia for creative youth. I don't really have anybody around me that is a creative anymore. I mean, most people now are just trying to work on their jobs, and closest thing is when I would do D&D with some of my friends. But even then, I mean, I don't remember the last time I've heard somebody get passionate about their own stories. But I'm also not in a point in my life where I really, I don't know, want to have to deal with it in a way. There's a sense of peace when you're kind of tucked away from the world and others. I mean, I'm focused mostly on just healing and taking it easy recently. Still keep up to date with news, and I still support my Oshis, of course, but my own personal life is very quiet. So most of my time drinking tea and sitting outside and watching the birds, watching the bugs. It's finally getting warm enough that bugs are emerging again, and just this morning I woke up and I went into the kitchen, and we have like 2 glass double doors, and I saw this big black wasp on one of them. And I was like, oh fuck. But I was like, all right, deep breath, it's gonna be okay. So I just took a paper towel, ripped a paper towel off of a paper towel roll. Then I walked over and I just placed the white paper next to it, and I'm like, hey buddy, do you mind crawling out? I'll let you out. And it just waddled on, so cute, and I just opened up the double doors and just tossed it out. Like, well, set it down, I didn't toss it. And it was a really pleasant experience. I've been allowing myself, recently just have a lot of pleasant experiences like that. Ever since I deleted Discord, I kind of feel really free in a lot of ways. There's also a downside to it where people can't get in contact with me easier, and I realized in retrospect after deleting Discord, I'm like, fuck, maybe I should have individually messaged people. For February, at the very beginning of February, I just had a status that was like deleting Discord end of February. And it was in my bio, the about me. And and a lot of people didn't even read or realize, and I'm like, oh, I probably should have messaged people. But I also left an update in my Discord, but it's like, fuck. Especially looking back, and I was like, I had some of the development and producer teams that I've worked with for voice acting and other things. I'm like, wait, I realized with one of the voice acting, I was like, wait, our files are, oh, I hope he downloaded them all. Did he download all of the voice acting files? I'm realizing now in retrospect, oh fuck, there was more I was supposed to do with that. And I'm like, yeah. I'll probably DM him on social media and be like, hey, let me know if you need the, oh wait, did I delete those? Oh, don't look at it now. Watch in real time as Mettie realized they fucked up big time. Yeah, but the positive side of it, I am very free. Kind of embracing my hermit lifestyle. That's a nice thing. Of course, if I had something that made me less hermit, that's cool too. But for now, I'm taking it easy. I don't even know if this even is going to be Rigel. The more I look at him, the more I'm like, I want him to have a softer, rounder nose. cool as like the background music, but it always makes me so eepy. But I think that's good. I mean, for me, it's pretty late, so a little sleepy time. I don't know if it's an international thing or like an internet thing or an international thing. Ooh. I mean, I've seen it happen with people from several different areas because I live in the eastern part of the US, but I've seen European and Asian streamers also have the problem as well. Also Australian ones as well. I think there's several factors that go into it. Sometimes it's based on your internet, such as ISP, it can be based on your internet service provider, or it can be based on sometimes the specs on your computer and then the game you're playing. Like if you're playing a game that's really heavy with graphics and your encoding process is a bit slow, it can take a while. There's a whole lot of factors that go into it. I'm also Eastern US? Hell yeah. I usually watch quite a bit of streamers for all over the place, so yeah. I haven't. A lot of people have been talking though about Twitch. They're seeing it in quite a bit more, and I don't know what's up with that. But I know people have been having problems with OBS too. I had to change some of my encoding settings for various reasons recently because it was causing problems. I think I want to bring that shirt line up. Let me move him up. Do you do commissions or anything? I sometimes do commissions. My commissions currently are closed, but I often do have them open. I've been taking a break though. I usually just do character commissions, but I've been known to do other things. Like I've done the various banners and logos for another Twitch streamer slash duo, Devil Hearts. But I did that back in 2021. I usually do character commissions, but they're closed right now. Right now I'm just working on personal art and designs. I have my own webcomic that I have out, The Witch of Mirrors, and then I have some other stories and content I'm working on. I don't have any tea right now, but I might get some later. One of my housemates brought me a cherry lime LaCroix, so that's what I'm drinking right now. Ugh. Oh, being feverish. There's a new season of My Rooma, which is what I did a lot of fan art for on Tumblr and Twitter originally. Back when I started the Ghosttownmettie account in 2021. And I've been thinking about doing a bit more fan art for it just because it's been so long and it's finally come back out. I still read the manga, but I'm not really much of a fan art person. I'm mostly doing fan art now for on a dedicated fan account for my Oshis, but I keep my VTubing and being a VTuber fan separate. Just because it kind of feels weird. And I kind of would rather just be fanboying out than being like, wow, aren't you Matilda Portier? The most beloved mayor in Margrave of the Ghost Town? I'd be like, oh god. You know what I mean? So, keeping it separate has been really nice though. God, his chin looks so strong. Something about the way he looks is pissing me off. The proportions are slightly off, but whatever. I think I need to move the ear forward. Maybe, I don't know. I might be overthinking it. Stop looking at his face. I've tried drawing Rigel a few times, but I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck this is. I'll figure out how to draw him eventually. Also fix this weird ass hand. Alright, let me... Okay, so here's where his shoulder is. This is where the seam is. Argel's pretty tall. Like 6 foot. 6'1". He's 6'1". Unlike a lot of my characters, he does not sew his own clothes. So he gets a custom ordered. Eccentric researcher, fantasy researcher, inspired of the 1500s. There's a lot going on with that statement. Whatever outfit I am drawing right now is definitely not going to be the end of it all. This is just him wearing loose casual wear. Thank you, Spritey! Welcome in! I love your art. Thank you. Thank you. It makes me very happy. I have kind of mixed feelings about my art, but it does make me happy to hear people liking it. It's something that I feel like I've never been an artist that is like, wow, my art's banger. I'm an artist as well? Hell yeah, Spritey. I'll have to check it out sometime. What do you like to draw? Like, I'm a comic artist that likes to work on like dark fantasy mostly. But it's always cool seeing like what artists like to focus on. Like, one of my friends, Sola, who likes to hang around the ghost town too, like, he mostly focuses on backgrounds and, like, concept art designs. It's like, yeah. I love... Yeah, I stream here on Twitch. I draw anime and realism. I draw comics and animations. Hell yeah! That's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I love looking at other people's art so much. Alright, this is not going well. Oh my gosh, thank you! Thank you for the bits! Holy crap. That makes me really happy. I'm trying to get this seam allowance to seem right. The cute cat face. That's one of the main difficulties I have when drawing clothing is I'm like, it's the sewer in my head where I'm like, I gotta think about like how many yards of fabric is this? What sort of seam am I doing? And then it makes me focus way too much on these things, but I love drawing clothing. Me too. I love drawing clothing, but then I get so fixated on the details. I'm like, huh? What do you mean that I have like 800 more panels left to go? I want to just focus on drawing on the stupidest shit. And anatomy? Hell yeah. Anatomy is really fun. My anatomy is still kind of fucked, but I learn as I go. You can see this weird little hand right there. I think anatomy is really, really fun to draw, though. I think that's one of the things that I struggle with, because like, for instance, when I draw people, I usually, like, I'm like, all right, what is the body fat percentage? How muscular are they? Like, where's their fat deposits on their body? Like, how defined is their sternocleidomastoid muscle? And I get into all these intricate details. And I think that's my favorite reason of designing characters, is you get to think about all these little things. Like, for instance, Rigel, who I'm drawing here, has a really bad diet. Unless somebody cooks something for him, he just doesn't eat because he's so delved into his research. So he's genuinely skinny to an unhealthy amount. So then thinking about how that impacts his body and the safe and stuff. I'm not self-promoting, just in case you want just being safe. I have a Discord server and a YouTube channel. Hell yeah, feel free to self-promo, I do not care. Supporting actually I do care, but it's in a positive way, because supporting fellow artists is always awesome. Genuinely, especially in this day and age, supporting artists, especially independent artists, well, technically even corporate artists are constantly getting fired, but supporting one of each other is so immensely important. If somebody can find me, even just one person, through somebody else's stuff or through my stuff, that makes me happy. We should definitely do a collab one day, trust, hell yeah. I don't have Discord. I just actually deleted it in February, but I'd be up for doing a collab. I'm usually up for doing collabs. But if you ever just want to draw together, that'd be cool. Also gotta check out your stuff. But yeah, if somebody finds your work or wants to promote, I'm always for it. I love chatting to fellow creators and seeing what they're up to. But that's also one of the best ways to gain inspirations or gain insight into stuff. Did you make your VTuber yourself? Mm-hmm. I drew it and I rigged it. Both this and all my other models. I do all of my art myself. The only art that isn't is there's one emote of my fan mascot biting into a purple heart. That's really cute that Eno the Ghost did. Teach me? I can try. I'm not very good at it though. I'm alright. I'm okay. But yeah, I did the live 2D rigging. I have some tutorials that I do recommend that help it a lot, but even then, like, even with a lot of the tutorials, like, for instance, there's, like, hair physics and, like, bounciness, and I just, like, omitted that. Every single model I do gets slightly more and more complex. Like, this is my, like, main model, which Like, I've had a few other models before this. I wish I had money to get a rigger. Well, that's why I used free live 2D. I'm slowly learning it myself because I'm a cheapskate who refuses to... yeah. But I did this model. Oh, so yes, you're gonna also see my... both all my art things in this. So I did this model, and then I have my other model, which is a bit more complex, that I did after it, which is my medieval model. Of the 1500s, but this has a little bit more movement and has a lot more like moving things going on with it. Like it has little steppies and stuff. But yeah, these are the two that I have that I mostly use. There's older models. Like if you go to my YouTube, I have that the intro video I have has a different model altogether, but yeah. Still Mettie, still Ghosttownmettie, but different. I need to redo my intro video though. I need to introduce this model and then my medieval one and update some information too, but that's one of the funny things about being an indie VTuber is there's nobody to hold me accountable, so I'm like, heh, I don't have to do that. I was working on my Twitch emotes so I can post them on my VGen. Hell yeah. Last stream I was working on some more emotes, and then I proceeded not to color them and not put them up. So I just got reminded of that. I'm procrastinating a little too hard. Working on Twitch emotes. That's so cool. I've been seeing VGen a lot. I haven't checked it out yet. I've been hearing that it's really good for commissions. Whether you get them or post them, but maybe when I reopen my commissions, I'll check out VGen. I just recently closed my character commissions. Well, you need to be a verified artist? Ah, I see. Well, that's actually pretty cool. Because it means that it keeps out a decent amount of scammers. That's awesome. I'm glad that there's another platform for people to get commissions out. Because I know people also use like Ko-Fi and such, but I've heard some problems with that. It's the safest website for commissions and no AI at all. Oh, hell yeah. That's what I love to hear. That's so cool. That makes me really happy. Maybe once I get another code, I'll lend it to you. Oh, no worries. No pressures at all. I don't even know when I'm gonna open up commissions again. Usually how I do it is just through, you DM me on social media and then I just hand over my payment link, whether it's Venmo or Cash App or whatever. I'm cool with that for now. I'm by no means a professional artist. I just draw. So I'm sure there's a lot of people, like if you like, I'm sure there's a lot more people that need it more than me. I just do commissions mostly because people have asked me about them. Like the first ever commissions I did was because somebody was like, hey, do you have commissions open? And I was like, I mean, I could. If people want a drawing done with me, I guess. I never got a commission before, and sometimes I think if my art is just bad, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Art is all subjective, right? It's all also about your market too. Like, I don't know if I'd get any commissions if it was not for what I was drawing. Because when I first started my art account, it was mostly fan art of Marimashita Irumaka characters. And so almost all of the commissions I've got have just been purely based on that. So I wouldn't be too harsh on your art. Besides, we live in a time where most people can't afford a lot, and commissions can be kind of pricey. So don't be too hard on yourself. I'm sure your art is good. I have no doubts about it. Because everybody's art brings their own unique perspective to the table. Every single person's art has their own personal experiences, beliefs, and things that they've witnessed woven into it. My prices were like $40 at most. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I don't think it's your art quality is bad. I think it's also knowing who you are marketing to. You have to sell your art as a product, and one of the reasons why I got art commissions was for, well, like I said, I did art for the Mairimashita Rumikun fandom, just like fan arts, and so most of the art I did was just fan art of characters if they wanted to see them in this position or doing this thing, or even got Yume fan art that I was going to draw where somebody wanted themselves with one of their favorite characters, you know? So I think knowing what audience you're catering to, knowing what your specialties are, and then knowing how to form connections and promote yourself in that way. Fan bases can be, and fandoms can be, ominous in some ways. I want to do art for streamers. I also want to do comics for storyboarders. Hell yeah. I think then, you know, obviously, talking to streamers like you were doing now is a cool way. Forging connections with them and doing comics for storyboarders. Now that's interesting. I think with comics, I'm mostly doing, I don't know. I actually have no idea with comics for storyboarders. Most of the people I know who do storyboards, I don't really know any personally. Like for me, when I do comics, I just post them on Global Comics. I'm like, all right, new chapter up into the void. And so I just post my own stuff up there and then I just let it, you know, hang out. But I'm also very casual about art. Been doing it for a long time, but just draw but can't draw themselves. I see. I think, well, there's a lot of Discords that are out there that are free, like pretty open about it, where you can search up like, oh, like, hey, are you a writer looking for a comic artist, and are you a comic artist looking for a writer? You can do that. There's quite a few different ones that I do believe are out there. I haven't joined any personally, but I have seen them floating around. That can be a good way to find that. But I'm rooting for you, Spritey. You got this. And little by little, as you keep promoting yourself and doing your best, I'm sure you're gonna find work. I'm also maybe just scared. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason why I do everything myself, is I'm like, I suffer from social anxiety, so it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to have to deal with all that. That's one of the difficult things of being especially if you want to do art as like a job, is being sociable and talking to people and networking is such a huge part of it. It's like, okay, how much would you charge for a full comic chapter? I do not know. I have no clue. That's another reason I'm like, I don't know. I do voice acting, and one of the producers for a voice dub had messaged me. It was like, hey, Mettie, I have like this web novel I'm working on. Could you do do you have commissions open for doing like what is it called? The cover for it? And I was like, sorry, they're closed. And I'm I don't know. What do you think? I have no clue. Well, okay, so there's several different ways to charge rates. So I think searching up the industry standard can be helpful, but also just think about how many panels a page, right? So if it is a comic page that has 8 panels, think about what character, like how much do you charge for a character? How much do you charge for body? How much do you charge for these details? How detailed is the background? Is it color? Is it gray? Like there's so many things that individually will change the cost for each artist. So like for me, I'm somebody who focuses mostly on black and white art, and like I use grayscale, so it won't be as expensive as, you know, full color. But, and I mean, 8 panels, let's say all of them have backgrounds with intricate props, like there's bookcases, there's globes, there's windows, there's flooring, there's carpeting, there's lamps. I mean, that would make it more expensive. I don't know. But then it would be... That's something too, is if you're working with an indie creator, they can't afford much. You can't, like... I don't know. I think that's something that you would have to ask somebody who is very much a part of the industry, because I'm sure you could search it up and be like, hey, what's the industry standard for comic page? I don't even know what I charge for mine. No clue. You could also charge, and this might be the most efficient way of doing it, you could charge by how much work it takes you per hour. Like, some artists charge just by count or like details, and then there's some people who just charge by how much time it takes you. Like if you're doing art as a full-time job, then you should be paid at least minimum wage for whatever location or country you live in. So like I'm somebody who lives in the US, and in fact I charge a bit lower than what a lot of comic artists would, and I mean like character artists would want me to charge that are from the US, but when it comes down to living wage, but I keep it lower because of how it transfers to other costs in other currencies. So I'd rather not have it so my overseas fans who can't afford, you know, what I'm charging to be able to afford it. I don't know, it's a lot. But other than school and job, I have some free time. I mean, it's up to you. Ultimately, there's no set price for these things unless it's in a workers' union. So a laborers' union and an artists' union will have set wages that they promote and push, that way that people, the workers that like they protect can be paid a livable wage. So it's something that you could look at unions and see how much they charge and how much they have set as like the industry standard, and like decide based on that. And then also something too is like years of experience often go into what makes somebody a bit more expensive. If you are hiring on somebody who has years and years of experience, it can be a lot more expensive. So, I mean, take into account that as well. There's a lot that goes into it. I think Googling and looking especially at union pages, seeing what they have said, if there's any. Or, you know, if you see somebody online who has set comic pages, that could be helpful too. Starting off too, if you haven't drawn a comic like many comics before, finding just a friend and doing it with them just for fun and for a hobby is really nice too. Almost everybody's first comics are almost always free. I mean, a lot of people started off doing like doujinshis and stuff. Well, I think I'll go now to figure it out. Also, if you want to follow me to see me live, most likely tomorrow, you can, but I'm not forcing. All right, hell yeah. Well, I'm also very tired. Me too. It is very late for me right now. It's actually about to turn midnight in 15 minutes, so. But it was nice chatting with you, Spritey, and good luck. Be kind to yourself about your art, and I most likely will send you a follow. Just heard something ominous out from outside. I wonder what that was. Oh, ominous noise outside. Let me erase this. I don't like the sound. Sorry, I heard nothing. An ad appeared. Oh. My bad. Good seeing you, Spritey. I will most likely give you a follow, and absolutely good luck. I'll probably finish off stream in a bit and go to bed as well, because I'm also very sleepy, but rest well. Don't be too hard on yourself about art, and I hope to see you again at any point you want to hang out. I have an idea. Kinda want the classic shoulder slits right here. Might charge around 200 per page or less depending on how complex. Nice. Sounds good. And I hope you're able to find some commissioners. Though also feel free to... For a one-shot? Hell yeah. I also recommend to... If you don't have any comics currently out, just making one just to show off your work as well, to add to your portfolio. The more you have your portfolio fleshed out, usually the better. I have one, but it's not digital yet? Hell yeah. I love drawing comics. I love reading comics. I think one of my favorite story formats. And Cafe Bonjour's soundtrack is making me sleepy. Might change it over. Well, for real, I'm gonna get going. It's almost 12 a.m. Yep, same here. It's very late. Should go to bed. Rest up. It is very important. Alright, I gotta switch tracks, dude. Cafe Bonjour's making me so sleepy. Alright. Hiding it while I switch it over. What's not gonna make me so sleepy? Yeah, we're doing Baba Yaga's theme. Ba-bum, bum, 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 bum. Ba-dum, 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 ba-ba-da-da-bum. This is... I just realized I had Mellow there. That's not... That's not true! Hopefully somebody just thinks it's like the vibe and not actually the band I was listening to. Alright. Witch's Tale, Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga is one of the funnest things to say in this world, and I stand by that. Okay. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. I need to make some tea. I think that's the main problem of why I'm so sleepy. I should make some caffeinated tea. It's really funny. I had a dream yesterday or last night where I was taking care of my grandmother's house. But it was just very ominous and odd and peculiar. But it brought up the fact that, like, this is like a very true thing, that I inherited her night owlness from her. Like, we both just are never awake during the day, usually. Like, it's only been a few hours of me actually being awake, but I'm like, I'm so sleepy. I'm indeed feverish and sick, but that should not be a limiter. No limiters on Medi, please. Okay, I have an idea of what I want to do for this. No longer fucking around. I got an idea. Actually, I might put a be right back soon screen and then just run over, make myself some tea, because I have to put it on to boil. And I have to choose the tea. Ba-bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. I kind of wish that they had a switchboard for every single 3DS game ever. But I know that will never happen. I would just tell my love. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking that, these fuck-ass sleeves are the move. See, I'm getting more energized now. Actually, this is gonna drive me crazy. Louis' theme, maybe? No. This is gonna also make me sleepy. Everything's gonna make me sleepy. Alright, let's do Liddell's theme. Liddell. Oh no! Oh wait. Alright. That could have been bad. I just realized that my display wasn't up. You guys can see me dropping this silly little sleeve. That's okay. Okay, maybe a little bit quieter. I think if it's as loud as it just was, it might drive me crazy. In a Witch's Tale game, the first location you end up in actually has quests and like plot development is like a candy, like a nightmare candy realm. And I always think about the design for there's like a cavity as a boss. And I recently actually had to have, earlier this month I had a root canal done. It was actually because my tooth shattered, not because of a cavity that fucked up the nerves. And I was just thinking about its design again. I'm like, damn. They don't make them like they used to. There used to be so much more like spooky themed anime. I mean, like, I feel like I'm kind of out of touch with anime now. But man, so many vibes. Ba, 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 ba. I think that eyelid is a little too large. It's been an hour and 16 minutes. It's funny how I'm always a little bit more slower than I am off stream. I think it's because I just allow myself to fuck up way more off stream. I'm very spooked. So I usually draw my laptop, and this monitor feels way much bigger for some reason, even though it's like the same tablet I use. It's like it's the mini Wacom with no screen built into it. It's just I look at this monitor I'm staring at. Which is my preferred way of doing it. Also, it's the cheapest tablet ever. I'm such a cheapskate, dude. I spent a lot of money on my friends and my Oshis, but outside of that, spending money on yourself don't feel so good. Well, I buy video games, I guess. But if I can get a sale, I'm gonna get a sale. Like, I don't believe in buying a microphone full price. Get that shit secondhand. Especially if it's a nice microphone, because one, it's expensive, and two, you can just literally, like, there's people who, like, try out microphones, like, you know, I don't really like it. For instance, the mic I'm using now is a pretty expensive, like, Neumann 102. I think it's the 102. And I got it secondhand for almost half price, which is an insane steal. But it was just barely used because, like, a producer got it, like, a recorder got it, and I was like, no, I don't really like it. Because it's such a... mics all have their slightly different qualities, so it's like, There's a lot of people who's, like, gets nice mics because due to their profession, but, you know, I don't really like this one. And so, like, I think definitely when oh my god, that'd be so funny. I'm like, well, I'll probably sell, like, if I ever get rid of my microphones, I'll probably, you know, sell them secondhand. I'm like, oh my god, it would be so fun. I was like, wait, I could sell it secondhand for the same price I got it. And there's no loss? That's kind of insane. I'd probably price it somewhat cheaper, though. Because this is definitely going to be, like, used. Not in, like, a weird way, but, like, I have hundreds of hours recording on this thing. If not thousands. Oh god, that's kind of a terrifying fact. What do you mean I've been doing things? God, he looks so fucking stupid. He's too smug. Alright, I should go make some tea. But first... Alright. Oh, wait just a second. I'm gonna mute. Okay, I'll be right back. Have I been muted this whole time? Have I been... What did I mute for? I'm back. Oh. Pop. Oh my god, I'm tired. You ever just sit down, then all of a sudden that wave of, ooh, I'm tired hits you? Yeah. For some reason, as soon as I got up out of control, like the Psychopaths opening started playing. Wait, was it the opening? Yeah. So now I have it stick in my head, the, 'cause I feel I can always show my everything to you. Yeah. Yeah, anyways, I'm back. Alright, let's go back to drawing this freak. I forgot I was giving him puffy sleeves. 'Cause I feel... You know... This part of the VOD might get muted if I upload it to YouTube, but I wonder if... Alright. I kind of want to listen to it once. As a treat. I think about updating how much RAM I have on my computer. I also don't want to take it into somewhere to get it upgraded. But I know I don't have enough skill to add another stick of RAM and... because it's like, what if everything didn't want to work? It used to not be that bad, but Windows 11 hates me, actually. It told me that it wanted me dead, so... It said, actually, fuck you. You aren't allowed to listen to the Psychopaths opening anymore. 'Cause I feel... Oh, but in general, Spotify, like, uses so much... CPU for no good reason. What's that about, huh? You know how I've talked about being a Hollister fan? It'd be funny if I played that version instead, but no. 'Cause I feel I can always show my everything to you. If this moment was me. Okay. You know what? A little bit is a treat. Oh, please no ad, 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 please no ad. You may be like, Mettie, why do you put away the drawing when you're doing this? And the answer is simple. I just don't want to show sensitive information whenever I click off of my drawing program. If for some reason Clip Studio Paint, you can't just use it as like a... Like, usually they have, like, game capture, program capture, and the only way you can do is through display capture, where it captures the whole monitor, which is weird. Kind of silly a little bit. Of how much this is not loading in. They said, out of control is by nothing's carved in stone, actually said, fuck you. What if I downloaded it? No, that's a lot of work. Honestly, it might take less time, though. This is a lot of work, though. All right, fine, fine, fine. You win copyright. I won't play a song. I say, and then I immediately start something else. All right, I have my tea. I have a blackberry sage black tea. And now it's time to listen to... Wait, now it's time to listen to Hellsing soundtrack. Everything loops back to Hellsing soundtrack. Chemical vibration. Ah! Sorry, I just hit my mic. Very lightly, though. I just wanted to use my charging cord. Alright. I think at this point, Hellsing might be one of my all-time favorite animes. I was gonna say it might be my favorite, but that would be just a bold-faced lie because it's always gonna be Berserk 2003. I mean, 1997. Hellsing 2003, I think. Or, yeah, 2003. Some people dislike older animation, but they're cowards. Afraid of what it will taste. Ah, yes. Be burdened with a lack of taste like none other. And be like, Mettie, what are you doing? I don't know. I think I know what I'm doing. I should, but I'm not. I'm freestyling. I think that's a lot of what my VTubing thing is just me figuring shit out as I go. Like most streamers feel that way, but like I didn't go into this knowing what my lore was going to be fully. I mean, I still kind of don't. It's kind of up in the air. I have some things, but I'm like, it's up to change. I'm not holding anything really sacred about it. Like, here's the gist of it, right? Back in like the 1100s, a boy named Ortiloye has nightmares of the sea, then goes out to sea finally to face his fears, and then drowns and dies, right? And technically gets thrown overboard and gets stabbed several times, right? And then Orti's resentments and negative feelings then manifest into an evil spirit, which is then becomes me, Mettie. So that's the gist of that. And then Chrysos beats me, who is a snake human thing, an Ouroborean other. So then, also this is not going to sound very appealing because I'm kind of just running it over in my head. And then after Chrysos saves me, then I become his comrade and is forced into kind of subordination. And so that's as much as I've told you guys. That's as much as you guys know. I haven't released any content that goes with Chrysos, so everything after that is like, but it's still iffy, right? I actually am planning on canceling the whole idea of having a mercenary group for the longest while. I think genuinely Chrysos stumbling across and being like, wow, this is the only peer I have in this world that is not human, and he has trauma with humans. I think that's cool. Because he's stuck with somebody he can barely tolerate, which is me. And I think that dynamic is really funny. And, you know, as they go around trying to find more, I just realized I was drawing with white. Fuck. As we go around trying to find others, right? People who are not entirely human, but belong to some other category of existence. We end up, you know, that's where Rigel comes in. Because Rigel is somebody Chrysos met when he was young. Also, this is looping, and I didn't want this to loop. Chemical vibrations. There we go. Oh, wait, I should change the name. What is this? This is Hellsing. Hehe. So Rigel is somebody that Chrysos knew when he was young. In fact, it was the first person he really met after his mother died, because he technically has associations to those who kidnapped him. But he's a researcher of the peculiar, pretty much, and especially has a fascinations with things like Chrysos. So, like, well, Chrysos would never want to actually have to go back. That's the only place you're gonna find leads to figure out what's going on with people. So then they go back. He has to go back now as a grown man to kind of face the place where he lived after he lost his mother, which is not pleasant. But then Chrysos begrudgingly takes on Rigel as a kind of a helper in a way. Me and Rigel are friends. Really, really, really good friends. I'm technically a villain in the story, so my standards are far from what a good human should ever have them be. Me when I'm stuck with the two people I hate. That's Chrysos. I think the main theme of the story is in pursuit of less loneliness, and the answer is doesn't happen. Actually, well, kind of, but not really. The pursuit of no longer being so lonely is not something that is genuinely achievable for many in this. Which is funny because, like, this is technically VTuber lore and ongoing story with it, but the whole idea, I suppose, is that hole in your chest is never actually going to be fulfilled. Which is funny, because you haven't noticed. I literally have a hole in my chest that isn't filled. Well, it's filled with blood. But where I used to have flesh, it's now gouged out. Turn this shit up. It's still pretty quiet, hopefully. Kind of be cool if this is like a jacket. I feel like if you see all of the clothing I've drawn for characters, there's like a overlaying vibe to it, and like design choices I reuse time and time again. But I hope nobody ever does that because me when I finally upload all my characters onto what is that? Art Fight. I kind of want to complete more references for that. I definitely will be doing Art Fight this year, probably. I hope so. I think Art Fight's really, really fun. I like drawing other people's characters and seeing what's out there in the world. I did it for the first time in a long time last year, so you can find me at Ghosttownmettie on Art Fight. That'll be happening this summer. I have no idea what the theme is going to be, but I think they release it closer to the date. Last time I was fossils. I think it was gems or fossils, and I was on the team fossils because I think fossils are cool. In this house that I live in, we have so many fossils just laying around. Like from ammonites to turtle skulls to... Ooh, I'm blanking. One of them has like a whole like small tray of like different small fossils and stuff. There's a YouTube of like two guys off the coast of UK who just break open rocks on the cliff and find fossils, and I think that's so cool. I love fossils. We have a lot of floral fossils that I don't know the name of. But we've been lucky enough to find fossils in our backyard as well. I love fossils. All right, what's the theme for Theramine? Fun fact: Theramine is off of Theramenes, the Greek. Oh, I'm blinking. Oh, the fever's getting to me. And the migraine's getting to me. But we power through. When you are in chronic pain, every day, you just gotta do your best. Turn that shit up. Oh, he's kind of cool. I say, well, having him wear the stupidest shit imaginable. God, I gotta rewatch Hellsing 2003. It's so good. It's so unbelievably good. It truly might be the greatest of all time. Well, that's the thing is, like, I think Hellsing 2003 would be my favorite if Berserk 1997 didn't have so much emotional merit to me. Because, like, Hellsing is just badass and awesome, and I love it. And it's so cool, and the art direction just lives in my head. I love the Hellsing manga, and just the music for Hellsing is so freaking good! But Berserk takes the cake because the music is so beautiful and important, but it is, like, the plot. It matters a lot to me. And I've been very open and honest about some of the trauma I've been through because I think that it is something that is worth discussing. Not for pity, because I just like being pitied, but it is something that, like, I feel like a lot of people's trauma should be normalized talking about because it can be very healthy to discuss these things, especially as an artist and a writer who addresses these things. Like, I write dark fantasy, I have to address the elephant, the trauma in the room. And Guts is one of the most powerful and resilient, and I think well-handled sexual assault survivors, especially for a man. You know, it's very rare for you to see it addressed properly. And the amount, like, the whole reason Berserk happens is because he is a sexual assault survivor. That's one of the reasons why women feel safe around him, why he does what he does. Like, it's literally the biggest motivation he has. The whole reason he's a great swordsman is that's all he has. It's what saved him from his sexual abuse. Like, a lot of people like to, like, be like, ooh, Chad move, Guts. But no, the whole reason he's obsessed with his sword and, like, a Chad, in quotes, is because he's a victim who would rather feel safe with an inanimate object than his relationship with others. Like, ugh. Anyways, I can talk on forever about it, but Berserk will always mean so much to me. And I feel like very few people actually talk about Guts as a character properly. Alright, I can turn it back down again. He's got the goofy guy clothes on. I want there to be, like, lacing. But I kind of want it to be lower down. A little bit of chest exposure as a treat. I gotta get back into Japanese studying. I know there's a few, like, games people will stream that have, like, Japanese studying, but I might just do a Go stream and just study Japanese and yap and discuss. I've been wanting to support and watch the Hollow Stars JP boys a lot more, so learning Japanese would be really nice for that. And I've studied Japanese on and off throughout the years, but I never really sat down to, like, it's really funny because the main reason I stopped recently, the last time from studying Japanese, was I got onto wanting to learn Mandarin a lot more. But one of my favorite YouTube channels is Chinese Food Tours with Ashi. I think it's his name. And oh my god, I love that channel. I love that YouTube channel a lot, where he just travels all throughout China. He goes to other places too, like he goes to Japan at some points. But it's just a really cool way to see all the different like cultures and food dishes and locations. And he goes through history, and he's just got great vibes. So I'm somebody where I'm watching a show or a movie in a different language. It's not uncommon for me to repeat the terms. So I found myself just constantly kind of, what's it called? Parroting his words. And then I was like, well, I should actually maybe learn some. But then I proceeded not to get very far in it, and then it just put my Japanese learning on hold, and then, ooh. It's how it goes. I don't know if I like this. I'm kind of like half-assing drawing this lacing, and I think that's so apparent. Well, I think rather than lacing, I think lacing's the wrong move for this outfit. I think that's wrong entirely. But I don't think the plunging neckline is inherently not it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a clasp. Oh, I was going to define a motif for Rigel. Terramine. Rigel Terramine. That's one thing that I struggle with is people who can do like house sigils and such, like house crests. It's something that I would benefit from knowing and working on, but eventually I'll have to learn it. Okay, here we go. Huh. Okay. Yeah. I didn't do as much progress as I'd like, but my migraine is getting worse. So I should probably end it here, take some medication, and I might stream soon, I might not. It's whatever the wind decides. I do this casually. I might go back into streaming more often. I've been putting so many games on hold that I was streaming, so probably should. Like I said earlier, I'm taking it easy right now just because, so get back to it soon. But thank you so much to everybody who came by today. Thank you to everybody who chatted, and thank you to the VOD watchers in the future, and I hope to see you again next time. I wish I drew more on Rigel, but I didn't. That's fine. Take it easy. Be kind to yourself. Alright. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.